Broadcasting live. It's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Monday. Welcome to a brand new week. And not only is it a brand new week, it's a brand new month. Ben, what happened to October?
Every month.
Yeah.
Every month. We apparently lose track of where that month has gone.
Yes, we have. And but it is. Where have all those months gone? Don't you, that's
you know where I can tell you where I think October went?
Where'd it go?
I think October went to December.
Ah.
Because there is so much Christmas stuff already rolling out.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I can't even tell you. It seems like everyone wants to rush the holidays.
Yeah. Well, we have turkeys here in our backyard here, which means Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
I don't think that's what that means.
Now, what does that mean?
I think you just have wild turkeys in your backyard.
That's true.
I don't think they're the harbingers of
Thanksgiving.
No.
They appear, like late October. They sort of know, I think, that they're on the menu. Maybe.
Maybe. No, but it's a lot of holiday stuff going out, and someone pointed this out to me, and apparently a lot of people this also happened, and it was sort of an achievement, which is that this year was the first year that I can remember not hearing the Monster Mash.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't hear it at all. I didn't hear anyone playing it. I didn't hear it on the radio. I didn't hear it on, I just didn't hear it.
Really? That's very strange. I mean, I don't know.
Did you hear it?
No, I actually haven't heard it.
Normally, around that's all anyone hears is the Monster Mash.
Wait a minute, I'm hearing something.
Yeah, well, I meant around Halloween, so it's already too late.
It's too late?
It's too late.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the song I'm talking about. But yeah, I didn't hear that, around Halloween, so that was a welcome relief.
Well, it was. Okay. Well, to give you some non-relief, at least you heard the first few bars of it, so you didn't go the entire, without hearing it.
No, well, I mean, up until Halloween, because after that it's just a song, which is completely out of place.
Well, anyhow, welcome to a Monday edition of the show. We got a great show planned for you. In the second hour, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. They are the official optimization software of Computer America, and don't you forget it. And in the first hour, we're going to talk scanners. That's right. Now, that's not the people who make your head explode, from the movie Scanners. We're talking about optical scanners. These are devices that read paper documents and bring them into your computer. Yes, and we're going to be talking about those shortly. Now, before we get into that, let me just let you know that if you have any comment, question, or suggestion during our show, that's the first hour, hopefully it's related to scanners, you can give us a call at 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through, okay? You can also send us email to live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. You can do that. That'll work also. You can also join us in our live interactive chat room. Just from our homepage, you'll see it says interact with the show in the middle of the page, chat and live video. Just click that button, and you'll see the entry screen to our chat room. It's going to ask you for a nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. There's a CAPTCHA authentication code that just verifies that you're a human being. It's either a number or a couple of words. Just type that in and then click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. It's just that simple. You can also, beneath that, there's a button that says click for IRC clients. And if you do that, it'll take you to our free software page. And on the bottom of that, you'll see several different IRC client plugins. there's Chatzilla, there's HexChat, there's MIRC. Depending upon the platform you're using and the browser that you're using, one of those should work. And that basically just reformats the chat room into its own window, just makes it a more visually pleasing. And if you want to do that, it's certainly an option. You don't have to do it, but it's certainly a nice way to interact with our chat room. And of course, sharing that same page is our live Computer America video streaming page, where you can see myself, you can see my co-host Ben. Sometimes you can see our guests. It's just another way to interact with us, and you can watch the show. Now, for some reason, we just got kicked off BTR, but we're still on our live Computer America video stream.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Okay, so we're reconnected, and we're going to continue on with the show. So let's get started. It's a Monday, and already we're having a technical issue. So
it's a good start to the week. It promises good things in the future.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. So let's introduce our guest, because now our guest this hour is from a company called Plustek, and they're a manufacturer of consumer, prosumer, and professional scanners, and they're here to unveil their newest scanner. That's the Smart Office PS4080U. Now, we here at Computer America have always been of the opinion that every computer owner should have a scanner these days, given the inexpensive price tags and the really useful features that they offer. However, if you have an office or even a small office, you need a professional scanning abilities, you're going to want to hear about this new Smart Office PS4080U. Now, joining us tonight is Robert Fuchs. Robert is Plustek's marketing manager. Robert, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Hey, pretty well. Thank you for helping me miss the traffic here in LA. So I enjoy staying after hours.
Well, there it is. So
bright side and everything.
Yeah, it is. There's a bright side there.
And you got me hungry too. Talking about turkeys, I missed that song. Thank you. I mean, we're on a roll.
Yeah. Did you do anything special for Halloween?
Yeah, I did get to go out to New York and went to the Photo Plus show, which was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
We also do film and slide scanners too, and we got to talk to a ton of great people. They were telling me about shoe boxes. That's how they measured how much media that they had, from 5 shoe boxes to 10. One guy said he had 75 shoe boxes of film and slide that he needed to digitize and share those family heirlooms with the rest of everyone.
Well, that's nice to. It sounds like you had a good time and a productive time. So let's focus on Plustek now. There must be some people out there that still haven't heard of Plustek. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Plustek itself, the company? What does Plustek do?
We're all about scanners, and it started in the 90s. One of our first scanners was a color sheet-fed scanner that had a tricolor cylinders, and it separated the 3 major colors. But coming back to the present time right now, we have 4 major product lines: document scanners, book scanners, slide and film that I just mentioned, and we also even have onboard in-vehicle security surveillance systems too.
Wow. So you have a variety of scanners. Now, you mentioned one of them, last time we had Plustek on, we talked a bit about it. These book scanners. I think it's the OptiBook line of scanners, and they're kind of interesting because they allow you to scan books, but in a way, because books basically have the spine to them, and you have a book, and unless you break the spine, you can't really get the book to lie flat on a glass surface, and that's what your book scanners do, correct?
Thank you. We have an A300, which has that, I call it the affinity edge on the glass, so you can just sneak that spine right up in it. It's pretty popular at libraries and people that just need to actually quickly scan volumes. It does, your typical book size in less than 2 seconds.
So basically what you do is you take the book and position it on the edge of the glass scanner, up to the spine. No, it's from the edge of the book the page up to the spine, so that that one page lies flat, and the rest of the book hangs over the edge of the scanner, so it makes the page lie flat to the surface. Is that what you're doing with that?
Right. It sneaks right in there, so you don't see that shadow, and it works pretty well.
And also, I understand that the glass goes fairly close to the edge, so the scan.
Oh, right to the.
It goes right to the edge.
Right to the very edge.
So
no shadows whatsoever. It's fabulous.
And you don't get.
And it does larger sizes too.
And you don't get that distortion that you would have if I were to lay a book on a flat glass surface, and then the book.
Where it kind of like warps up towards the spine.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't have that, and I think Plustek is one of the only companies that does something like that.
You said it.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Exactly. And is it called OptiBook? That's what keeps sticking in my mind. Do you call
the A300
is the OptiBook? Okay.
OptiBook A300, correct.
All right. And then what is the other one that does the? You mentioned two models.
And I'm sorry.
You mentioned two models, the A300, and what else? What was the other model that we?
In that same category, we also have an OptiBook 3800 and a 4800 too.
Now
those don't necessarily have that book edge design.
I got it. All right, I understand. So the first one that you mentioned is what, and generally, what does something like that cost?
We distribute through our retail partners. I haven't checked to see what the best price is, but my guess is around $1,600.
Okay, that's all right. So we can talk manufacturer suggested retail price if you want to. So that's good. All right, so
it's a little higher than that.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I understand. Okay, so but that's again a very specialized scanner. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with scanners or what scanners do, basically they're sort of like if you think of a copy machine. You go to a copy machine, you lay a page on the glass surface, and it scans it and it makes a copy. A scanner for a computer basically does the same thing, except instead of getting a physical sheet of paper, the image is transferred digitally to your computer. Is that a fair assessment of what scanners do?
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to call you Professor.
I've been called a lot of things. So basically that's what it does. So then you can get a digital image, a picture, if you will, of the document that you just scanned. Now, what you do with that document can, once it's in your computer, it can be a wide variety of things because it's just basically a snapshot of a page, and it doesn't really care what's on the page, whether it's drawing, if it's words, letters, it's just an image. If you want to extract words from that, then we have to you have to run a specialized piece of software called OCR, Optical Character Recognition, and that's a whole other, which basically scans it in and then creates text that you can then edit into a word processor, what have you. But the basic job of a scanner is just to get an image, to make a copy of with a page that's whether it be from a magazine, newspaper, from a book, whatever it might be, and get that into your computer, a digital image. And then what you do from that, you can go from there. Now, can we also talk a little bit about some of the new products from Plustek?
Sure. You know what? I sort of mentioned at that show we had this 120, which is a medium-sized film and slide scanner. That was really popular. Again, so many people that came up to our booth and just shared, what am I going to do with these film and what am I going to do with these slides and negatives? There's just literally shoe boxes.
Okay, so now we've lost the network again. I'm not sure what's going on. Again, we'll get him back on if you're watching us on Google Hangouts, and we'll try to get back here.
It appears that the host has already dialed into this show.
Okay, so we will try to get him again with this one here and see what's going on here.
Good start off.
Calling back into a live show. We are reconnecting you now.
I think that we have something that's pretty spectacular in the sense that we have a tablet that's embedded into a scanner, and it's at a price point that is going to be unheard of too. We're going to launch this in November 11th, and it's an ADF scanner. You just load paper at the top of it. It's going to pull it through, but it's a standalone scanner. So it's not hooked up to a PC. It has this big LED touch screen on it, and we have an interface that we're calling Apollo. It literally has the design aesthetics of something that feels even smarter than a smartphone. Big buttons, just very simplistic, and you'll want to scan, you'll want to touch it. It's very intuitive to use.
Well, it sounds that you have a nice variety of scanners, and again, you can see all these at the Plustek website. And what you might want to do is go to our homepage at computeramerica.com, and you'll see our show notes button, which is in the middle of the screen. If you click that, it'll take you to our show notes. You'll see today's show, November the 3rd, and a description of the first hour. And Plustek is there, and you can just click right on the name, and it's a hyperlink, and it'll take you to the specialty page from Plustek that we're on the scanner that we're going to be talking about tonight, which is the Smart Office, a line of scanners. So and again, so all that information is there. So let's talk a little bit about this PS4080U, and this is very new. Matter of fact, I did a search just to see. I went to when I went to the Plustek website, so you can buy them at these places, and every place that said I could buy them, it wasn't available. I went to Amazon. I went to Amazon because Amazon has everything. I could not find the PS4080U. Is it that new?
I don't know why. I'd love to be able to say that they're sold out. They also have them at B&H. They have them at Newegg,
okay.
PC Nations, Staples.com, even Walmart.com.
Well,
so I think after the show I'll take a peek too to see what's going on.
Now, how new is the scanner?
We launched it at the beginning of October.
Okay, all right.
So and it is, as you said, a document scanner, super fast, does 40 pages per minute, 80 in duplex. You can put a stack of 100 in the feeder, and it knocks them out, takes care of them pretty easy. And we have a manufacturer suggested price at $649.
Now, you just said something that kind of blew my mind. You said if it's simplex, it does you said how many pages per minute does it do?
Well, it will do 40 per minute,
right?
And then in that mode, so you're actually doing both sides at front side and back side.
Oh.
So we're gonna call that.
All right.
We're just doubling the 40 per minute because it's already doing the back side.
So when it scans both sides of the page. So you have it can be simplex or a duplex printer is what you're saying. A scanner, excuse me, duplex scanner.
Thank you.
Yeah, a duplex scanner. So, and that's extremely important because most documents today usually are on both sides of the page. So you want to be able to do that, and that's an important feature. So obviously extremely fast. It has a document feeder that will hold, you say 100 pages?
Please, yes.
100 pages. So that's also extremely nice. So this is a workhorse.
Pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, a very heavy duty scanner to do something like that in an office. Because typically most scanners are flatbed scanners, and you do one sheet at a time. And some might have a feeder, but you can put only maybe 10 pages in there. So being able to put a stack of 100 pages in there and get them processed that fast would be. So what kind of office do you think, or what kind of applications would the PS4080U be best used for?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it can be a standalone, meaning in the sense where your whole work group can actually go to that one scanner and take care of the documents. I mean, some of the ones that we're sort of the verticals that we're looking at is medical. We think it could be used on the front desk when a patient just comes up. It does mixed batch, so it could do their IDs, insurance cards, and then just the actual, if it's a new patient, a form that they can do too. And then, and it can also be used by the same group, maybe considered in the back office too, as if they have, after the fact, like some records or the insurance, the explanation of insurance benefits. We also think there's an opportunity, at law offices, if they have a large mixed batch of documents that they want to put through. Financial too, and insurance brokers and real estate.
So these are all this is the typical offices that would use something like this.
Yeah. Yes.
So let's talk about some of the features of the scanner. I mean, now, I mean, how many images you take. Now, what kind of resolution does this thing have?
600 to 600 dpi
Okay.
is our resolution range on it.
Uh-huh.
And it has an intelligent misfeed too, so it will sense if something's going to go wrong. It's not going to pull paper through.
Now, is this strictly for a paper, or because I'm looking at some of the paper handling, it has some very unique features that I have not seen on a scanner before, such as it's kind of senses if there's in other words, it works with a plastic and other rigid cards such as ID cards, driver licenses, membership cards. It will work with those.
Right, so it can sense the thickness of it too, and make sure it pulls it through correctly.
Okay.
So wait. So the plastic ID card, that works with the document feeder.
Right.
Really?
So you can put in a mixed batch. I mean, probably ideally you'd want to put in that card on itself, but in theory you could put in a mixed batch. You can put in larger documents and those plastic cards, and it will know what it is and feed it through properly.
So if you put in like a series of documents, I mean, would it go, page 1, page 2, ID card, page 3, page 4, or would it do like all the paper and then the card?
No, I mean you would just get to actually put it. It would scan in the order that you laid it into the scanner.
Wow.
See, I like that. And you were mentioning medical, and I'm assuming that a lot of people have medical cards for insurance or what have you. I mean, if you're scanning things in all day, you don't have to worry about scanning the card in, where to put it, where to save the file, and it just kind of goes in order. That sounds amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
I understand also, you have different size pages. You have, you have A4, you have 8.5 by 11, you have legal size papers. I understand this will take long documents up to what, 200 inches?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, there are medical documents, charts that it needs to be longer, and they need to have electronics. So maybe possibly the physician on the other side can look at that chart in the electronic format, so it will literally just feed that through.
Wow, that is nice. And again, it works with single or double side documents. It will
yes,
exactly. And so that's unique. I have never seen that on a scanner before. That kind of paper handling. Now, it has something called an intelligent misfeed function. What is that?
I sort of mentioned it, but it's where it actually will recognize where it's sitting, and when it's getting pulled through, if it's misaligned, it won't actually let it be scanned. So you can take away that piece of paper that's causing a problem. There's still, there may be papers that are, are stuck together, and maybe an older type of scanner, they would actually just still pull it through. So you would have those pages that were basically almost glued on top of each other. You'd get half an image or something like that, but it's not going to actually let you do it.
Wow. Okay.
It's not going to let you have a misfeed.
Now the feature's obviously turned on by default, so it automatically improves the scanning experience. But however, when you're scanning papers with labels or sticky notes and taped receipts, this is an ultrasonic function that can be turned off to prevent self-detection. Can you talk a little bit about how this works?
Sure. It's along that same size. I mean, along the same lines that we spoke about. It senses the paper thickness of the documents, and it warns the system that there could be a possible challenge or problem, and so it will detect that incident, so it doesn't misfeed.
Okay. So again, obviously, it has this exceptional productivity. I mean, there's basically just one button on the scanner, right? I mean, or is it controlled by software? Do you control it at the unit, or is it a combination of both? I mean, walk me through a process.
Or do you have some kind of clap-on feature? Clap on, clap on.
Easy there. That's pretty good. We have bundled software that comes with it, but we also have our own proprietary software called Dock Action.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, it's so simple to use. It will just give you options of setting what you need to, to create special buttons. So say if you have a batch and you're looking for, maybe a PDF is what your office does more.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't even necessarily have to go to the computer. You can just go to the device itself, to the scanner, and just press that button,
mm-hmm.
and then it will output in the format that you need. And just very simple, very intuitive. Nothing else is needed but our Dock Action software.
Now that comes with it looks like it comes with 4 pieces of software: Docs Action, Twain, and Abby, and Presto Page Manager 9. So can we talk a little bit about what these other products, software products that come bundled with it?
Yeah. The Abby Fine Reader,
mm-hmm.
that's the one that is the OCR side of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that you're able to actually create those readable PDFs and stuff like that. It recognizes a bunch of different languages. Abby is very smart, and it's learned about the different characters, and they have a great database that makes it not have very many errors at all, if any.
Now,
so it just recognizes those characters.
Now it says Abby Fine Reader 9.0 Sprint. Now that's included? Is that a limited version, or is that the full version of Abby?
It's a version 9.0.
Yes.
I would assume it's the full version. It's not crippled.
Okay, and you see that's interesting because some of the less expensive scanners will come with a version of Abby that is crippled, or just a trial version, if you will. You can try it, but it does not include the actual version. So it's nice to know that
save money somewhere.
Yeah, so that's it.
And I think that's part of the bundle too. I mean,
mm-hmm.
you have to look at to see what type of
sure.
The utility software that comes with it, so you don't have to get any additional. And as you said too, there is that upgrade path for bundles, but yeah, you're good to go.
So, and now let's talk about the new soft Presto Page Manager 9 SE. What does that do?
And so this gives you the ability to actually do some edits, so you can capture, preview, convert, and deliver that document in a way that you need to do. So you can, you could do some merging of files. You can also just do, some simple edits with it too.
Okay. So, but now these are all different software products that are bundled in with the Smart Office PS4080U. Comes with that, and it's important because, as I said, you can just get a scanner and you can't do much with it until you buy applications for it. And obviously, with this suite of applications that come with it, you literally out of the box, and you're ready to go. When we come back, I want to talk about what operating systems that the Smart Office PS4080U works with, and talk a little bit more about scanners in general. But we're at the bottom of the hour, so we're going to take a little break here, Robert, and then we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and on the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I are talking to Plustek. Robert Fuchs, Plustek's marketing manager. We're talking about their Smart Office PS4080U office scanner. We'll be right back with more after these messages and a brand new News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Hey, it's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time it's, beard ski. With a scarf around your neck, a mask or another scarf covering your face, and something else warm over your ears, you could be toting a ton of togs just to keep the cold of winter away from your face. We got a beard ski, a fun alternative mask and then some that wraps around your head, Velcro at the back, covers your ears, your nose, a hole for nostrils, your mouth, a mesh cover, under your chin, and down your chest. It looks like a costume beard, but nobody's going to ridicule you when you're toasty and they're fighting frostbite. The polyester and rubber thermal fleece is washable, non-flammable, and water-resistant. Bottom line, wearing a beard ski may look silly, but when one piece can keep so many parts of you warm, you could be sillier not to wear one. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. All right, News Tips Bulletin Reviews are getting
is that a beard
a
ski
little more out there. It's okay.
Is that a beard ski you're wearing? I don't know.
No, not quite. This one's a Ben ski. So
okay.
Yeah, don't worry about that one. So welcome back to the Computer America Show. We have Robert here and from Plustek, and we're talking about their scanners right now. And right before the break, we kind of wanted to go into some of the applications, I think, with the scanners and things like that. Mm-hmm. But before we do that specifically, I thought it'd be good to go over how to set up these scanners. Whether you need like a computer over the cloud, that kind of thing. Because I mean, just a few years ago, setting up a scanner, especially one that worked over a network, was just pull your hair out, frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I think people sometimes they kind of avoid getting a new one because it'd be so complicated and hard to do. What's the setup process like for the PS4080?
No, thank you. And I think the point too that you mentioned before you went on the break is present we support just the OS like Windows, XP, Vista, 7 and 8. So this one is not Mac compatible.
All right.
And that being said, anything that is Windows compatible, it's pretty much an out of the box experience. When you plug it in, even Windows will probably know what the drivers are, and you're almost ready to go. and just all you need to do is just hook up, power it up, of course, put your wire to your computer and turn it on, and what's going to happen is that the dock action is going to ask you what type of paper you have, what do you want to select. Do you want to do it from the computer or from the scanner itself? And literally you're ready to go. It's pretty much plug and play.
All right. So pretty much out of the box is what you're saying. It's really simple to do. And then again,
thank you. Yes.
It works with all Windows versions, not Mac at this time. Do you have any plans to make it work with Mac, or is it strictly a Windows product?
We just need more Macs in the business environment, for doing for doing this type of application. But of course, we have our other scanners too that are Mac compatible.
Oh, okay.
We have literally over 30 scanners, and so if you go to our website, we have a chart that shows what the compatibility is too. Please don't ask me to recite them because I don't know it to memory.
We won't. But let me ask you this, because obviously you're the marketing manager for Plustek. What makes Plustek products different in the marketplace from other scanners that are out there?
I think it is our value proposition, value in the sense of what our price is and what you get for that price. I mean, if I were to generalize it, we could possibly be a third lower versus maybe what the typical market leaders are. And like what we do is scanners. For the last going on 30 years as an ongoing business, again, in the 90s, it was pretty much all scanners. Every single year, our product managers, this is based out of Taipei, even though that our offices are in Los Angeles for marketing, sales, and warehousing. They're trying to either build something that's revolutionary or evolutionary, and it's just, for them, it's all about the scanners and the dedication that they have to bringing new products to the marketplace every single year. And I think also too, being in LA, literally you're a phone call away for everyone in the U.S. And there's still so many people. There's maybe an older audience too. We help them just take the product out of the box, hook it up, and get them through that scan. And we just do that on a phone too. So if there are people that need that extra touch, you can call before sending an email, and you'll get a response pretty quickly. So the combination of being priced with features that are maybe possibly even better than market, and the service being a phone call away, I think that's our position.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and certainly, the service is certainly an important thing too, because it's an important piece of your office equipment, and it's nice to know you have someone to call. Let me. What products do you think Plustek will be releasing next?
As I sort of touched too, coming up on the 11th, it's our eScan A150, and this truly is something the marketplace is I think it's going to find very interesting. You have a network scan priced under $600 with this big visual 7-inch touch screen, and with intuitive interface that we created that we're calling that we feel has a sun type of feel when you look at it. It's orange in nature, and then we have some other setup time too. All we think it could possibly be, a replacement for that typical fax machine that you see that people are still buying in the marketplace, because since we email, you can send fax to email, and people just aren't going away from needing the fax, at least sending fax. And I think sometimes you need the simplicity of a fax machine where you just put the paper in the top and you're ready to go.
Wow, very, very nice. So what do you think the future of scanning is and scanners? Do you think they're going to be here for a long time? I mean, we're seeing a lot of these multi-function things coming out there. A lot of people trying to put, printers and other things into these scanner products to make them multi-function. What's your thoughts about that?
Even getting a little bit more forward thinking, it's maybe not quite ready for prime time yet, but you're seeing, 3D scanning, will it be adopted like it's taken the last couple of years for 3D printing? This is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Some of them are doing basically like a 3D snapshot where they're just taking an image and just moving that image on maybe like a flat bed, and then you have the other 3D type of scanning too, that where it actually maybe sits in a room and the scanner revolves around and captures those images in sequence. And then I think at the other end, with cameras getting better lenses too, you're seeing people actually trying to scan right from their phone. But I think, however this being said and done, there's just, in the business environment, you just need a dedicated scanner. Scanning's not going to go away. I mean, you're in business, out of storage and make that available for everyone to discover, online. Maybe this is a part of a lot of businesses' sustainability commitment of still reducing paper to go away.
All right. Well, they are. I don't think they're going to go away either. Quite frankly, I mean, that's obviously the perform. That's like saying, well, do you think printers are going to go away? No. I mean, it's a necessary function. It's going to be around, and they're going to be around for a long time.
For the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think so. Robert, anything else you want to tell us about Plustek that we might not have covered?
Just to get a little bit off track, but we also, again, I mentioned that we have a security surveillance site that's mobile that uses 4G. With the times where people are always needing the need for video, we have this complementary product line where you can actually put it in and see live video while they're in transit because of 4G. So who never knows? You may see connected, 4G scanners on the way down the path too, since we have a level of expertise with our mobile surveillance.
So you're really trying to blend the two technologies that you have access to and try to make them work together, all the better.
Well, yeah, you never know. I mean, if all of a sudden we have an expertise on something, our product managers on this side, negative scanners too, the ability to, not to do one at a time, like I sort of mentioned that people were talking about the show, but having that automated too, having something that's streamlined. I mean, literally people that have, thousands of negatives, how are they going to actually, turn this all electronically in their lifetime, or have an army of family members to help them out? Yeah, I think there's going to be some more innovations that we see from our side, or just an evolution of what scanning is going to happen to. Maybe larger sizes. Of course, it's going to be quicker and a lower price too.
Really? Well, that's good. Now, of course, again, if anything that you need to know about the Plustek scanners, you can again find out at the Plustek website. at plustek.com. But again, go to our computeramerica.com, go to our show notes page, and again, go to today's show, and you can see everything about not only the Smart Office PS4080U, but all the other things that Plustek does, all the different scanners that they make, and see for yourself. And I'm sure if you're looking for a good scanner, that Plustek has a model that would be right for you, be it for, as you heard, Windows or for the Mac. They have a wide variety of scanners available. Plustek's been around for a very long time, a venerable name, quite frankly, in the scanning industry. And I've known Plustek. When did Plustek first come on? How long has the company been around?
Almost going on 30 years.
Wow, that's older than Ben.
Just 5-7 years or so.
You guys, I think you got dated when you were talking about the Monster Mash too. We sort of got a hint that, we have a couple of memories. And then what about those wild turkeys? Does that mean you're going to eat them? Do you have your own?
They're protected.
They are protected where Craig is. So like people come, like we have visitors that come up to the house and they see the wild turkeys and they're like, I had to go hunting in the woods for 3 days straight and camp out, and you have turkeys walking up your driveway, and you can't do a thing about it.
Yeah, they that's very, very true. It's very frustrating for people who are turkey hunters, and they cannot go near them. They can just look at them, but they're protected. I mean, you look at them and they say, "Hey, I want to shoot that." Nope, they won't let you do it.
We have that same challenge out here too, but they're peacocks, so they sort of look like a turkey, but colorful flowers.
Yeah.
I mean,
those are good eating.
Yeah, but but they look right at you, and and they know you can't touch them. They know it.
Maybe that is the smartest of the birds. They just know that they could just tease you like that.
That's it. Well, Robert, listen, it was a pleasure having you here on the show. And again, more information, as I go to the Plustek website, and you can find that on our show notes page at computeramerica.com. And it was a lot of fun having. It was a pleasure having you here tonight.
Thank you for keeping me out of traffic. I appreciate it here on the left coast.
Yeah.
Anytime.
All right, and again, we'll keep watching what Plustek is doing, and so when something new is coming out, we'll stay in touch with you. Always new things coming out. Yeah. All right, Robert. Listen,
thank you.
Thanks again. Thanks again for being with us here tonight. The turkey thanks you too. All right. Good night now.
Good night.
Bye-bye. All right, there you go. Plustek. Again, you can find it that Smart Office.
And remember to go to their printer scanner section, not the digital surveillance section, because you will not find a scanner, or at least I'm sure the one you're thinking of, in their surveillance section.
Well, you might find a turkey, but that's.
I get it. You have a turkey. Enough with the turkey.
All right. All right. So let's see. What do we got? Okay. So let me just tell you a little bit about our contest before we go to our news. Our contests are up in full swing, and we're very happy that our contest registration form is working. Just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com. Go to the Interact pull-down menu. It's right there. It's the second item. It says Enter Contests. You'll see all the contests we have. Go to the Logitech contest. You'll see it's up and it's running. We just started it last week, and we have 3 great prizes there: third, second, and grand prize. The Logitech X300 is the mobile wireless stereo speaker. It's valid at $70, and you even get to pick the color of the one that you win. So, but just check them out. And enter and we've made the entry into the contest even simpler. Notice a lot of you are really, we're getting even more entries than we did, so this must be working. For example, before you had to
like forms. They don't like submitting emails and things like that. No, they like forms.
Yeah, evidently they like forms because it's really simple. You just go to right there on that same page. You'll see about the official Computer America contest entry form, and you put your name and the information. The comments are optional. Although we have to tell you, we love comments from you. If you have any comments, we love seeing those comments. And then hit the submit button, and you're in. It's just that simple. No muss, no fuss. So enter in all of our contests at ComputerAmerica.com. Enter our show reminder winner of the week. That's every Friday. You get our email newsletter when you subscribe to when you enter into the show reminder contest, and the show reminders newsletter. It goes out every Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully, all of you remembered to go off of daylight savings now. Otherwise, you're going to be an hour late to our show. But you put your first and last name and your email address. You click the blue submit button. It's another registration form. It'll send you a confirmation email to which you must reply. We want to make sure that it's you and not a bot that wants to get our email newsletter. Okay, and once you've done that, you're
want those juicy deals.
Yeah, and then every Friday from the list of subscriber names, we draw a winning name to win a really nice prize from Logitech. It's a T650 rechargeable glass touchpad. That's right. It's actually made of glass. It's a beautiful touchpad. It's touch sensitive, valued at $80, and we give away one of those every single week to some lucky person who's entered. So here's the thing: enter in all of our contests. Enter them all. They're all free and they're all private. They're confidential. We give information out to no one. We don't resell your name. We don't sell lists. We don't do that here at Computer America.
Believe me, we've tried.
Yeah.
It does not work.
Does not work. No, we don't do that. With our Logitech contest, once we're finished, we throw out everything out and start all over again. The only time we give out your contact information to Logitech, who's currently providing us the prizes, is that if you're a winner. And we have to do that because they have to mail you your prize. And so that's the only way it does it. That works. Other than that, it's completely confidential. We give out nothing, no information to anyone. Okay? So enter in all of our contests. As I said, you'll have a lot of fun doing it. And who knows, you might win something really, really nice. Really. You have a great chance. I mean, the odds, much better than winning your local state lottery. That's millions and billions.
Well, but you should probably try to enter that too. I mean,
yeah.
You can't win if you don't play.
That's very true. But at the same time, we're not saying don't play that. I'm just saying play that, but also just enter because all our stuff is free. That's it. At Computer America.
It doesn't cost $2.
No, exactly. So no, it does not cost. It doesn't even cost $1. It doesn't cost anything. Just register. Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got a lot of interesting news stories. You're going to lead off with the first story, so nothing else. Let's get started with news, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, free. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website is completely free. They're not crippled. They're not freemium models. They don't do any of that stuff. Everything there is completely free. And here's the thing. Download them all. Just go ahead and download them all. Get their rec image, their backup software. Download them all. Keep them. If you're not using, just have them ready to use because you're going to need them sooner or later. Trust me. All computers have malfunctions. You get software malfunctions. You need something to help clean that up. Slimware Utilities will do that nicely, neatly, and again for free. And when you do need it, you're going to be glad that you did that, and you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. Ben?
Hi. So, computer technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. And this one's off topic because this is actually an email that I got. Whereas Craig gets a couple thousand, I get a couple hundred. And but this one actually caught my eye. Not really technology related or anything like that. Just one of those mass market emails that I got. Which I thought was pretty interesting. Apparently a Kickstarter was funded, succeeded. Now they're starting to sell. They're called Booze Stones.
Booze Stones?
Booze Stones. B-O-O-Z-E. Just like booze, alcohol, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And they're stones. Apparently they're little granite cubes that you keep in the freezer, and you can just kind of put them in your drink and chill your drink without actually, using, traditional ice, which waters down and, turns to water in your drink and kind of ruins it. These are just little granite cubes that, you keep a dozen of them in your freezer, and I would assume instead of just throwing them in your glass, you'd place them gently in the bottom, but they, kind of do the same thing without all the, water. So.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, and they look pretty cool too.
Booze. You have a picture of it? Oh, it's not our news stories. It's just a.
No, just Google booze stones, and you can buy like half a dozen. I mean, I think we should probably start bringing more little ideas like this as we get closer to the to Christmas and the holidays, because something like this would be a great stocking stuffer.
Yeah, it would be.
Just a little knick-knack doodad, costs $10-12, and serves a purpose. So, booze stones.
Check
them out if it's something that sounds interesting to you.
Yes.
All right. So, computer and technology news.
Yes.
How about this one? This one from Popular Science and Long Island, most famously known for their iced tea, is instead getting the world's most powerful X-ray making accelerator this year.
Really?
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive piece of technology that Long Island is getting. The accelerator will take pictures of nanotechnology too small to see otherwise. Didn't know you'd need a whole apparatus just to see something like that. So, and we're not going to get through this entire article. We're coming up on the mid-show break, but we can get started on it. And so, in the land of accents and Uggs, the U.S. Department of Energy is getting ready to open its newest particle accelerator. The National Synchrotron Light Source 2, weird, located on New York's Long Island, creates powerful X-rays and other kinds of electromagnetic radiation for nanotechnology studies. Now, here's the part that caught my attention. A facility like this, which costs $912 million, that's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Is expected to work for decades and to host scientists from all over the world. Scientists will apply to use the synchrotron for a set amount of time and stay on the synchrotron campus to perform their experiments. The facility isn't quite ready for applications yet. It's undergoing some final tests. Engineers which run the synchrotron expect it to perform its first experiments at the end of the year, being the end of 2014. The project seems to be on track with officials' previous opening day estimates. Radiation from synchrotron makes images of things that are too small to see otherwise, and because the Department of Energy funds the facility, you can expect scientists to use it to examine and at a nanometer level materials that could go into next generation fuel cells, superconductors, and other electronics. All the stuff that we've been hoping, praying, and looking for.
Yeah.
Synchrotrons often host non-energy related experiments too. Scientists can use them to image structures of proteins and other biological molecules.
Okay.
Yeah. So the facility works splitting by spitting out packets of electrons. I really don't know what that means either, but they then accelerate them to nearly the speed of light using booster rings. If you ever seen the aerial shot of a particle accelerator, you get like that figure 8 kind of deal.
Yeah. You know why I'm not totally enthused about this? I'm encouraged, but the point is we're never going to see these products. In the next, it's going to take for the next few years before we see anything that this will create.
This is heavily on the research and development side.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a long time coming before we see anything like this in the consumer world.
I just think that if something gets $900 million worth of funding to build, and it's being built in Long Island, where you can if you live in New York, you can go drive and see it. I think it's worth mentioning.
Really? I think. Well, okay. I'm glad.
$900 million and in your backyard.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Hey, we got some interesting stories coming up here. Like, did you know that the police can
more interesting stories?
Yeah, police can require.
Already started with the interesting part.
Police can require you to unlock a fingerprint-secured smartphone. They can make you unlock your iPhone. Wow, did you know that? Also, An Apple One computer sold out of Steve Jobs' garage. You will not believe how much this thing is going for. And also, a man was sentenced to jail for a year for firing his laser pointer at a police car plane. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben. And, by the way...
Yes?
You said police car helicopter.
I meant
It is simply a helicopter.
A plane. The plane.
What have you. Anyways, I really want to wrap up the story real quick about the particle accelerator.
Yes.
It's opening in New York, and the Brookhaven lab is the one conducting all the experiments. And this is another reason why I think it's interesting is that things like this, things like these labs, if they didn't exist, then a lot of the technology that we use today wouldn't be available.
That's true. But all I'm saying is that you're not going to see any of these things coming out in the immediate future.
But here's the thing.
Yes.
What if we relate it to something that has been used since 1982 in the same capacity?
What?
So the National Synchrotron Light Source 2 is an upgrade to, well, the original National Synchrotron Light Source, which opened in 1982 and closed this September. So the NSLS-2 makes X-rays that are 10,000 times more powerful and resolves images more precisely than the original NSLS.
All right.
So if technology has come as far as it has, and this one's 10,000 times more powerful, that does not mean accuracy or anything like that, but just means it's more powerful, therefore you can probably get better resolution on images.
So,
that's good.
Are you saying that if I go to my doctor's for X-rays and he's going to use one that's 10,000 times more powerful than the one that he had in the office?
This one would take care of any ailment that you have, guaranteed.
Yes, you would die.
Yeah, early onset death. This would probably induce.
Yes, it would.
But you would not be complaining of that head cold anymore, or that toe fungus.
You wouldn't have any more ailments. No, that would be the end of it. Yeah, exactly.
No, it's the ultimate cure.
Yeah, right. Death is the ultimate cure. Exactly.
But I mean, I don't know. It struck me as, when someone invests $900 million in your backyard to something that, let's be honest, if you're in New York or, going near Long Island, you could probably stop in and get a tour of this place. And it sounds really interesting to me. So, I'm the co-host of this show, too. I can bring up stories.
I want to know why didn't they start off with a Kickstarter project for this thing?
They didn't have to. Again, funded by the U.S. Department of Energy. So, government funded.
Yeah, but that means then they're going to be controlled by the government. They should have started a Kickstarter fund.
That's the nice thing. They are controlled by the government, and then they lease out the time to other scientists who want to use it, and then they make their money that way. This is more of a, super... Because, I mean, what kind of Kickstarter are you going to back on it? Like $20 to get a T-shirt. For the $5,000, you can actually, design your own experiment, and for the grand prize sponsor of the next synchrotron, the National Synchrotron Light Source, you too, for $28 million, can run your own experiment for 3 months. What kind of Kickstarter are you going to run for this thing?
What a value! I mean, that would have been. They should. I don't know.
You're going to need an organization behind it, and the Department of Energy is probably your best bet.
Yeah, they can't raise $912 million on Kickstarter, huh?
It's a little out of the scope.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just thought. Well, maybe they could go to Indiegogo. Maybe they have better luck. All right. Well, Ben and I are doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And this one from Popular Science. And again, Ben likes Popular Science website, and I do too. And they do have, I have to say, they have some interesting, relevant articles there.
All their articles are relevant.
Yes, well, to our show maybe not, but but still, they can be very interesting. Um, it's like how many toes does a frog? They find a frog have. This probably doesn't fit into this show.
Listen, you're talking about the story with the toad that was 10,000. No, not 10,000. It was like 1,200 times more poisonous than the previous known frog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Don't lick one. Anyway, according to this popular science story, the police can require you to unlock a fingerprint-secured smartphone. Evidently, according to Judge Stephen C. Frucci's ruling, who states that fingerprints are not passwords. Get the fingerprints. The ruling said that fingerprints are not passwords, but they instead fall into the same category as DNA or handwriting samples, which police are allowed to request from defendants. Think about that now. A fingerprint is not a password, again, according to this decision by this judge. Okay, he's saying fingerprint falls in the same category as handwriting samples, DNA, any other biometric retina patterns, anything of those of that nature, of that type. Not a
I was just thinking that's pretty much that's all biometrics.
Yeah, all biometrics are saying they're not passwords. And I don't know. I mean, if I have a retina scan, protecting critical information, and the police can say, nope, that's not a password. You need to give us the retina scan. Look into the optical scanner. I don't know. I have to think about it.
Maybe you want to add just that one last layer of security of please enter your 4-digit code to enter.
Yeah, right.
It's like the fingerprint, the retina, and the DNA, and the voice recognition, and then last but not least, your 4-digit code, please. And then they can't ask that.
Fortress in the chat room wants to know how old this judge is. Okay.
Most judges do not tend to be the younger 20s. They tend to be older.
Yeah, they usually tend to be. I would tend to be he's older. Anyway, to continue on with this article, electronic fingerprint security has begun to emerge from sci-fi and into the everyday world, thanks to its incorporation into new smartphones by Apple and Samsung. The convenience of a fingerprint makes it easier to use than a lengthy passcode, and it's more secure than a short, weak one, like a PIN number that's only 4 digits. But while passwords are covered by the Fifth Amendment's protection against self-incrimination, okay, a ruling by this circuit court judge in Virginia last week now allows police to require a defendant to unlock their phone if it's secured by a fingerprint. There's a smartphone in most of our pockets these days, containing our email, text messages, and so on, all of which could provide a wealth of information to police investigating a crime. But in addition to the matter of self-incrimination, access to our smartphones could also open up to law enforcement a lot of sensitive and personal information that may be completely unrelated to the investigation at hand. Now, this judge's ruling could be a disincentive for smartphone owners to use fingerprint security if they think they could be forced to divulge their private information under the law. Abandoning the technology in this nascent stage could prove to be a setback for data security, since it might encourage consumers to rely on simple, easy-to-remember passcodes that are far easier for a malicious party to hack. It could also provide a chilling effect on technologies that depend on fingerprint authentication, such as Apple's newly launched Apple Pay system, which requires the use of its Touch ID system. This is very true. At the same time, you're not going to have a cop standing behind you say, when you're going to purchase something and say, hey, I want to see what you're doing. That's not that's not an investigation. But
I don't think that's what they're talking about, but okay.
Of course, it's important to keep in mind that even on a fingerprint-locked device, the fingerprint is not an all-access pass. Many features of smartphones still require passcodes to access certain features. The iPhone, for example, prompts users to enter their passcode instead of the fingerprint if it's been shut down and restarted. That's very true.
I was just thinking that. It's like if they can require you to give your fingerprint, but you want to give them you don't want to give it to them, like, yeah, give them your fingerprint, even though they rule this. But I mean, if you turned your phone off and turned it back on, that won't work. You need your 4-digit code, which they can't ask you for.
Yeah, that's true. So for the moment, fingerprint security still retains advantages over traditional passcode access, especially if you're not about to pursue a life of crime. Well, that's true too. Yeah. But I mean, think about it. I mean, there's so many biometric. They use voice recognition to enter in a room, or to say something specific, and then a retina scan and your fingerprint, and then. Some of the places require more than one authentication. You'll look into a retina scan, then they'll take your fingerprint, and then you do a voice print.
Are we talking spy movies now, or are we talking real life?
Well, I don't know. Even real life, they have more than one authentication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure how based on reality we are currently, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I know. Well. Oh, do you think that it's
This whole article is one of those, what if things, and if the courts start ruling that your passwords, because the future of technology probably isn't going to be in the 4-digit number code. It's probably not going to be even in a password. The future of technology is definitely in biometrics. It's it's going to scan your voice. It's going to scan your finger. It's going to scan something about you. It just makes life easier for the user. And makes your phone more secure. But if your password, quote unquote, isn't a password anymore due to it being classified as DNA or something along those lines, all of a sudden it became a lot less secure.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Because passwords, they just aren't for robbers. They're for anyone you don't want looking at it, and that includes, officers, police, what have you.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means that you don't want them to look at it. So.
Okay. All right.
Does that mean, so hopefully this whole thing gets overturned, because personally I look forward to the day when you never have to worry about a password again. It's all in your voice, it's all in your fingerprint, it's all in what have you, and you never have to worry about a password again. Like, that is a dream. And it sounds like they just made that one step, harder.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, they did make that one step harder. It is more up. Jeez, we got knocked off again. But what is going on with BTR Blog Talk Radio today? We're getting knocked off. Let me get
really
back.
Really stick.
I don't know. I'm there's something I'm going to try tomorrow on next time's show.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Okay, and we're back. If you're just joining us, there is another method of connecting to Blog Talk Radio, and I'm going to see if we can implement that tomorrow on tomorrow's show. We'll see if that happens, because this doesn't seem to be getting better. It seems to be getting worse.
Yep. So thank you for joining us again on Blog Talk Radio. We are doing computer technology news brought to you by Slimmer Utilities, and we just finished a story from Popular Science, and I think we're going to jump to the next one about from Popular Science, because they did have so many great ones, and this one is this one could affect you if you live in either Japan or San Jose, California.
Okay.
And this one, again, Popular Science, and in time for the holidays, stores add robot sales clerks.
Really?
So this holiday season, robots are coming to a store near you. Again, if you live in those places mentioned earlier, Japan or San Jose, but they won't be on store shelves. These robots will be helping you locate items on your shopping list. Last week, 2 different companies announced that they would be introducing a robot sales force before the end of the year. Nestle in Japan will add 1,000 robots to their workforce in December to help sell coffee and espresso machines. Their chosen model is an emotional robot called Pepper, and is reportedly able to carry on conversations. Oh, this is sounding devious. Pepper's manufacturers, a company called Aldebaran, owned primarily by telecommunications giant SoftBank, hope to begin selling the robots in the United States within the next year for businesses and individuals alike. What does Pepper do when not pushing espresso machines on people? According to the FAQ section on their website, Pepper will help people grow, enhance their life, facilitate relationship. He will have fun with them, give some advice, and connect with them in the outside world. That's a tall order for a 4-foot tall robot, but Pepper will have at least a little competition entering the American market. Also last week, Lowe's announced that in one subsidiary in California, shoppers will be helped by a retail robot. Oshbot, made by Fellow Robots, is capable of recognizing voices, identifying hardware, and navigating aisles. They are expected to make their debut in Orchard Supply hardware store in San Jose in late November of this year. Of course, Robot salespeople was bound to garner some criticism, and John Oliver, who usually, who has some great commentary, ripped into the Lowe's plan on his show last night, albeit in a very amusing way. Haven't seen it yet, hope to.
Yeah.
But the future is coming, and who knew San Jose was going to be ground zero?
They have all the fun in San Jose, Do you know the way to San Jose? I mean, I might head out there just to see this robot.
Was that part of a song?
It was.
Okay, because I didn't catch that at all. No, but San Jose, Japan, you can expect it. Japan is huge into robotics. They have been investing in it since the 90s, and they are, where robots here are futuristic and weird, robots there are just a part of everyday life.
Yeah, I had an Aibo. Was from Sony, the robotic dog. He was great.
Japan, yeah.
Japanese.
And, seriously, in America, the place that we see robots the most is Hollywood, in movies, TV, and what have you. Whereas in Japan, robots are here and now. They're helping people, move around their homes. They're helping people, diagnose illnesses. They're helping people, they're being companions for kids. Robots are a thing in Japan. It's not in the future. It's not sometime off in the distance. Robots are now. So Japan, you completely expect it. San Jose, apparently, they're going to be getting robots all over the place. And it sounded kind of creepy, but I think this is probably the way of the future. I mean, if a company can invest in robots and, sadly, unfortunately, start replacing their workers with, automated robots who they don't have to pay for insurance, who they don't have to pay a wage, who they don't have to worry about showing up to work, any of that kind of thing, they have a Class A worker who is going to be there.
I don't think this is going to replace salespeople. I mean, first of all, the salespeople at Lowe's are fairly, they're not all experts, but they're certainly, they know a lot about whatever particular field that they may be in. I could see this maybe.
They know as much as Google, because that's what this robot has access to.
I could see this supplementing a sales force at Lowe's because a lot of times you'll be in there and you can't find a salesperson, you need help. So if they have these things constantly roaming the aisles, that's nice. 2 or 3 or 4 of them per store, or maybe more. That would make a lot of sense. But I don't think it's ever going to replace the people. If you need plumbing help or experience, you want to talk to a live person. You don't want to talk to a robot. I'm
not seeing it. I mean, you're saying that it won't do it. I can completely picture in my mind how these things would replace the average worker at, say, Lowe's.
Okay. How do you envision?
I mean, give me one example where a robot wouldn't be able to do the exact same thing. Admittedly, you're missing out on the human side of the aspect, and I really don't want anyone to lose their jobs. I'm just saying that a robot can do pretty much everything.
Okay, I go into the plumbing aisle and I need an accessory, let's say the for the toilet. I need a particular part for, and I'll go to a guy and I say, what do I need to fix this, or will this, or I show him the image. I say, look, this is the old. Where can I find this particular, part for the toilet to replace it? And he says, oh, okay, well that's this. You need that, but I can't walk up to a robot and show it to him and say, hey, this is.
Okay, so you show your phone to the robot, or you download some kind of app, you select your toilet, it gives you the parts list, it gives you a tutorial, and it shows you everything, and it directs you directly to the aisle where you need it and where to get it.
I don't want to know all that. I just go into Lowe's, I've got this part that I need to replace, I want to go to a salesperson, where can I find another one of these?
Okay, so you download the handy-dandy Lowe's app. You select your toilet, and you select what's wrong with it. You go up to the robot, and it'll show you what part you need and where to find it.
Now, I just want to come in and show the part to somebody and say, where can I find
And
this?
thankfully, Craig, well, not thankfully, in the future, it doesn't matter what you're going to like, it's what works and what works well. And if this works well, it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to work as well.
If you refuse to adapt to technology, good luck.
I think it has its place, and I think it will supplement workforce, but it's certainly not going to replace them.
What is it? There were papers out there, that are really being discussed and thrown around in the, in academia right now, because that's the first place that warning bells start going off. But there's going to be a huge problem that I think it's like by 2035, 40% of the workforce is, their jobs are going to be replaced by robots.
Now wait a minute. Look at that picture. Now you see, he's doing what I want to do. He's holding up a nail. That's a part, and he's saying to the robot, if he could say to the robot, "I have this now. Where can I find more like this?" If the robot could do that, then that would be cool. But I don't think maybe
it says they can recognize voices.
Yeah, but can it recognize what he's holding in his hand? He's showing it to the robot.
Okay.
He's showing the nail or whatever that is.
Software really comes leaps and bounds.
I don't think that's what's happening. I think that picture is misleading because he's not really a robot.
All right. Well, we'll have to see with that specific thing, but even if it doesn't work that way, what about in 2 years, and 5 years, and 10 years, and 20 years?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll get back to you then when you can tell me.
No, but there's a real thing going on where by 2035, 40% of the workforce is there are going to be less jobs, just because automation and robots are going to take over what we consider everyday jobs.
Well, that wouldn't be good. Although I don't think it would take over. If it would take over jobs, then it would just open up and it would create or make new ones. There would be.
See, but this, again, that happened in the Industrial Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't happen with technology. The jobs that you replace, you are replacing with much fewer jobs. One serviceman, one service guy can service 1,000 robots. And that would do 1,000 jobs. So you're creating one job to every 1,000.
Yeah, but those robots are going to need people to maintain them and service
them. Again,
them.
One person can maintain 1,000 robots. That's one job to 1,000 jobs lost.
You've got these robots in all these different stores and all these different locations. You can't expect that one guy to service and repair all the.
One guy to 1,000, and then you hire 10,000 guys, and then that's 1,000,000 robots.
What I'm saying is that if you have 5 robots in each store, and these stores are each store is located in all the different stores around the United States where Lowe's are located, you're going to need people in different locations to come out and service them at different times. And I see that all the time. I see that even with things that are less sophisticated. You need people to come out and service them. It'll just create other jobs. More jobs will be created just to maintain and service these robots. So I think that's what's going to happen.
You can't have an entire economy based around, okay, we need 100% of our workforce. Everyone who used to make our food, everyone who used to drive a truck, everyone who used to, help us in convenience stores, everyone who used to, do anything. We can't have all of them just jump on board and say, okay, fix all these robots that just replaced you. We can't have a 1-to-1 ratio, Craig.
Yeah.
How are you going to have a 1-to-1 ratio? Are you just going to assign one person to every job, to every robot?
I'm saying in a regional area, let's say there are 3 or 4.
Okay, in a regional area, you have 500 people, 500 employees that are servicing 10,000 robots. Okay.
No, I don't. Not okay.
2,000 robots. That's 2,000 jobs that just got lost to 500 that were created.
Well.
There's no way that automation in this day and age is going to create a 1-to-1 job.
No, it won't. Okay, but other jobs will be created. And
you keep saying that it won't.
Not only the service technicians, but you're gonna need the support staff for this. You're gonna need the places that do that.
Which is all automated.
No. I mean the places that manufacture the robots, people.
Which is all automated.
Well, come on. No, the places that repair the robots and service them aren't automated. There's still people doing that.
There's people doing no, there are automation. There are robots building robots right now. What are you talking about?
No, yeah, but not on this level. Okay, you're still going to need people.
In 20 years.
All right. Well, in 20
We're
years,
talking in the future. I'm telling you, there was a study. 2035, 40% of the jobs in this country are going to go away.
get back.
They're not getting replaced by something else. They're going away.
Get back to me in 20 years, and we'll have this discussion again. Because
We're having this discussion now.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I still. Obviously there will be some more sophistication and technology to do that, but and that itself will also generate other jobs, new jobs that we can't even think of about right now. But other jobs will come into play.
I get it. In the Industrial Revolution, that worked out. You know, when you didn't need people, weaving the cloth, you had people who needed to sew it together to make shirts. I get that. But in this, with this kind of technology, you're not going to get that kind of, trickle down.
I disagree.
It's not going to be like that.
Go into a Best Buy and go to Geek Squad, and you'll see how many robots you see there. No, you have people, service technicians, jobs that weren't there before now are servicing and repairing computers. There are other venues, things will surface, other areas where people will find jobs that we can't foresee right now. And that's a perfect example of how technology...
That's not a perfect example. You just said one that had no previous area. Computers did not exist, and then you said, well, and then look, and then there's Geek Squad. You're not replacing one and filling it with another. You're taking nothing and just filling in one.
No, when Best Buys were out for a long time, and then Geek Squad finally opened up in Best Buys all around the country, that created new jobs that didn't exist. It was they have about 5, 10, 15 people in each Geek Squad now, and they go out and they not only service their customers, they go to their homes. These are people, and these jobs didn't exist before that company within Best Buy existed. Before you had to take your computer, you brought it into Best Buy, or you brought it to your local service technician. Now, all these are people that are employed in a technology arena that do this type of work now.
Okay, let's take something like fast food workers.
I was just giving an example.
Let's take something like fast food workers.
Yes.
In 15 years,
yeah.
Fast food is just you drive up, give them some money, probably shout out, give me a burger, and it pops out a burger. And all of it is automated from beginning to end, and 23 million fast food workers are now out of a job. Where are they going to go?
It's not that simplistic.
It is that simplistic. It's not that simplistic because a lot of industries are going to be automated. They need jobs, and you're not creating new fields to put them in.
You're making me repeat myself. Yes, there will be other jobs that we can't necessarily foresee right now, but other jobs will become available that are offshoots.
Isn't that kind of like saying, I trust other things are going to happen?
Well, I don't trust it because I've seen it happen time and time again. And in the technology arena, you say it's not happening in the technology arena. I'm saying it is.
It happened with technology the first time.
I'm sorry?
No. Okay. If anyone wants to call in and take either side, please do that because right now we're, kind of going, tit for tat, not really getting anywhere. So if anyone wants to call in and, say that I'm right or Craig's wrong, go ahead, do that. We're going to move on with computer news and technology. So please, Craig, choose another one.
And in the meantime, well, we don't have time now, but Apple said that only 9 iPhones or 6 units were afflicted by Bengate. We're going to do a story that that someone came out with a video that showed over 300 iPhone 6 and 6 Pluses that have been bent while being used. That's one of the stories we're going to be doing. Also, as I mentioned, a man sentenced to a year in jail for firing a laser 50 times at a police plane. We're going to talk about that. Also, the Apple I computer sold out of Steve Jobs' garage. You won't believe how much this thing could sell for. Also, Google's Nexus Player is going to be coming out. We're going to talk about the Google Nexus Player. These are some of the stories that we're going to be doing here in the on our computer technology news. Let's see, what else? There's also Skype has a translator preview. It's going live for Windows 8.1 users. So basically, you can look at someone, talk to them in English, and it will turn it into German, or somebody talking to you in German and it'll convert it into English, all while you're communicating with them in real time over Skype. These are some of the stories we're going to be talking about when we come back. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. Stay with us. We got another News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston, a brand new one. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Whoa now! It's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the True Temper Scratch-Free Snow Brush. EVA foam is only coincidentally about extravehicular activities. It's the foam in those spinning slappers when you go to a car wash, and it's also how they did away with brush bristles on the new True Temper Scratch-Free Snow Brush from the Ames companies. We got the 32-inch model. It also comes in 28 and 36-inch lengths. The business end has 4 layers of foam, total about 5/8 of an inch thick, and a long bottom blade that wraps around the end and for a few inches over the top. The end and top are shaped to handle rearview mirrors and wiper wells and cleaning things most brushes can't reach. The main blade offers an interesting parlay of stiffness and flexibility that can be effective against most snow, even wet snow, when you take advantage of the midway grip on its oval metal shaft for leverage. For ice, the tail end has a hard polycarbonate icebreaker and scraper. We've seen bristle damage to windshields and the body on earlier cars, so it's cool to see that this is bristle-free. Bottom line, the True Temper Scratch-Free Snow Brush will be a welcome rider in our car this winter. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that News Tip Bulletin Review. Brand new one, by the way. Be hearing that one all week in the second hour. Get a new one of those every week. Marty Winston's very good about getting them to us, and we love them. So
2 of them every week. Yeah, exactly.
So were you finished with your article about the Skype translator 8.1?
No, we hadn't started that. I just teased it.
All right. Well, actually, I think it's my turn to do a story, right?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, this one, a good cautionary tale for anyone who thinks that this is a good idea. And admittedly, I thought it was a good idea when I first got my hands on one, and it turns out it is not. So Yes, Ars Technica. Man sentenced to a year in jail for firing laser 50 times at police plane.
Hmm.
That's pretty bad. So, California Highway Patrol plane forced to stop its pursuit of a school robbery.
Wow.
Yet another man from Central California has been sentenced to jail time for firing a laser at a California Highway Patrol aircraft. And it was on Monday, and he was given 1 year in prison for firing a green laser at a CHP plane. It may seem like a silly thing, but laser strikes against planes, helicopters, and other aerial vehicles have become an increasing epidemic nationwide. Since the FBI began keeping track in 2005, there have been more than 17,000 laser strikes, 1/5 in 2013 alone. So obviously it's not getting better.
No.
During the first 3 months of 2014, the FBI reported an average of about 10 incidents a day.
Wow.
Not bad, honestly. I thought it'd be worse. While no serious injuries or deaths have occurred, pilots say that being struck by a laser can be a terrifying experience that may cause temporary blindness. Very true. Because, these lasers are very, very powerful.
Yes, they are.
According to a statement provided by the federal prosecutors, with this particular case, with the gentleman being sentenced to 50 years, was sentenced to 1 year. The aircraft was struck 50 times, and the pilot suffered temporary blindness. The plane was also forced to break away from a burglary in process at a Fresno middle school. The CHP pilot reported that he gets struck by lasers almost every night, and this incident was, quote-unquote, the worst. This marks the 11th such sentence coming from the Eastern District of California, centered in Fresno County since 2007. Apparently, Fresno does not mess around with lasers.
Uh-huh.
So they were ordered in September 2014 to serve 18 months in prison. Federal prosecutors from the Eastern District of California reported more than 82 laser strikes in 2013, more than 6 laser illumination incidents per month. This year, there were an average of about 12 per month in the district, and they're cracking down on it. American courts have handed out harsher sentences for laser strikes convictions compared to their counterparts overseas. And by the way, I have actually seen one of the. They actually released a police tape of a gentleman, shooting his laser at a police helicopter, and they released the videotape from the helicopter of the officers actually. Like the helicopter was just circling around, it started getting hit by the laser, and the helicopter turned all of its attention to the gentleman shooting the laser at the police helicopter. And, I mean, those infrared cameras, they get a picture-perfect look at your face. Even though it's nighttime and complete dark and you think you're safe, they get a perfect picture of your face and exactly what you look like. And they cornered this guy, he was like sitting out back, with a couple of buddies. And, police officers knocked on the door, let themselves in, found the guy. The helicopter pilot was able to pretty much point out exactly which one had it in his pocket, and they arrested him right there on the spot. I mean, there really is no, you don't really get that much protection when you shoot a laser at a police helicopter. It's just not a good idea. So, please, folks, don't do it. You will get caught and get in trouble.
When these things first came out, the red lasers, they were fairly harmless. They didn't go very far, and then they came out with the green lasers years later, and the green lasers are extremely
very visible.
Visible, yeah, exactly, and they carry quite a distance. Price used to be a
arm and a leg.
Deterrent, because they were so expensive, the average person wouldn't want to spend that money. But now you can buy these things pretty much anywhere on the or on the internet for under $100, and they're quite powerful. And so
will cause serious damage if directed.
No one ever giving a presentation needs a laser of that power. When you're pointing toward your PowerPoint presentation, you don't need to burn a hole in the screen, when you're demonstrating it. And I'm not kidding, because some of these lasers, like from Wicked Lasers, boast the fact that they're so powerful they can burn a hole in something. They pop balloons with it, they light cigarettes with it, and they actually have demonstrations. The wattage is so intense for these lasers that they can do it. And again, you just don't need. I mean, if you want a laser pointer for your presentation, fine. But a red one, or the low power green one, that's fine. But you don't need to. You see what it's become? It's become what's the word? It's more than that, but it's become a contest thing. Who can have the most powerful laser, on the block, and unfortunately, people are abusing it. And some of these people are just, doing stupid things with them, and like this. But of course, now as you say, they're starting to crack down. This guy is serving 18 months out of his life. They've taken 18 months out of his life, behind bars for doing this thing. He's going to know, and I think they're doing this to set an example.
Well, I mean, like the article said, this was the 11th such conviction, since 2007. So I mean, yes, they can make an example of him, but when you're the 11th person, they aren't setting a good enough example. So I think that was the difference in this, was that the sentence was so severe compared to the other ones.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna make them more and more severe, and then people are gonna know, hey, this is something you can't do. You get caught, you're going to jail.
And admittedly, if you accidentally, if you're shooting up in the air and you accidentally hit a plane, they're probably not going to come after you. Admittedly, don't shoot planes. But this guy was sitting there, and they said about 50 times. So he was sitting there, strobing it, hitting it 50 times. I mean, that's just being a nuisance.
Yeah, he was purposely. He was just.
Like, he didn't accidentally do anything. After that many times, he was purposely being a nuisance, and still, it's just a laser, and he's sentencing, and he's serving a year. But I mean, that's just common decency.
Yeah. Well. Okay. We're continuing on here. Ben and I are doing computer technology news. This story again from Ars Technica. An Apple One. We've seen Apple. Apple One computers. They made 666 of them, and they sold for $666. And they were.
That's Steve Jobs. He's a marketing genius with the 666.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the Apple One computer, there are not that very many left. This is not the Apple II computer that most of us are familiar with. The Apple One was the precursor to the Apple II, and very simple in how it ran. According to this story, there's going to be an auction this December. They found one. And they're saying it could pull in well over $600,000, maybe even $1 million. This is a board on a computer. So Christie's auction house on December 11th is going to put up an original Apple One personal computer, which was sold out of Steve Jobs' Palo Alto, California garage for $600. Actually, it was $666 back in 1976. Christie's estimates that the computer sold to Charles Ricketts is worth between $400,000 and $600,000, the highest estimate yet for an original Apple One offered at auction. Some of these are sold for $300,000. I remember there was one for $250,000. Well, as they become more and more scarce, they're becoming much more and more valuable. An Apple One specialist was hired by Christie's to see whether the Ricketts Apple One had suffered any deterioration. He was able to run the standard original software program, Microsoft Basic, and also an original Apple One Star Trek game on the vintage computer. I played that game on my Apple II, by the way, the Star Trek game.
Wait.
What? Yeah.
Apple One ran what?
Star Trek. They had a Star Trek.
No, before that.
Microsoft Basic, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Apple One ran Microsoft Basic.
Yes, it did. The Apple II ran Integer Basic and Microsoft Basic, which was a floating point. It was called AppleSoft Basic, but it was they took Microsoft and Apple made it AppleSoft Basic. But yes, Microsoft wrote the original Basic that ran on the Apple One, and then one of the games that was written in that Basic was Star Trek. And actually, I played that Star Trek game on my Apple II. It was the same game.
Was that the one where you kind of choose which room you want to go into and had to?
No, it was a strategic game, and it was and it was done with the text images. You know, the graphics were really not existent then on it, but it was actually a well planned out game. I played it quite a number of times, and it was a lot of fun.
So that's where the ending of your gaming career happened.
It will be sold along with 2 canceled checks from Charles Ricketts made out to Apple Computer. The first is for the amount of $600, and Ricketts later added a note on the check that said, "Purchased July 1976 from Steve Jobs in his parents' garage in Los Altos." So that's nice. The second canceled check is for $193. It contains a note that reads, "Software NA programmed by Steve Jobs, August 1976." Now, according to Reuters, the Ricketts Apple I was purchased by entrepreneur Bruce Waldeck in 1999. Waldeck lost his fortune and moved out of the U.S. He died in 2007. And in 2004, a Virginia collector named Robert Luther acquired the computer when he bought a storage locker at a police auction. Luther apparently did not have any details on the computer's history. Now Luther is auctioning off the Ricketts Apple I, no doubt confident he'll see a healthy return. My computer has been purchased directly from Jobs, and based on the buyer's address on the check, he lived 4 miles from Jobs, Luther told Reuters. In October, the Henry Ford Foundation paid $905,000 for another vintage Apple I. Wow. Okay. Back in 2012, an Apple I motherboard was auctioned off at Sotheby's for $374,500, more than double the high estimate which the board would bring in. This is a real collector's item. The December 11th auction will also include the Ron Wayne Apple Archive, which comes directly from Apple co-founder and consultant Wayne. The archive is estimated to be worth $30,000 to $50,000, and it comprises the original working proofs of the Apple I operation manual with Wayne's original company logo. Christie's press release says, "This proof page of the logo may be the oldest copy of an Apple logo in existence. Wayne possessed and retained these proof copies because he laid out the entire design and contents of the manual in partnership with Steve Jobs. The lot will also include design renderings, blue line sketches, and diagrams for a proposed Apple II personal computer cabinet." Now I still have the original Apple II manual. It's called the Red Book. I have that in my collection. I don't know if that'll ever go for that kind of money, but you know, I do have it. So,
I get that, you know, if there was some kind of, you know, museum of technology, yes, this should completely be in it. But I don't get the sentimentality of buying it, especially for those kind of prices. Like, the people buying these Apple Is and Apple IIs, they have to be museums that are, you know, making these kinds of bids. Because I just don't see people actually going out and buying technology that is just so vastly inferior.
Oh, but it's a collector's item. But, you know, it's like anything else. You can have I don't care if it's coins or whatever. You know, a coin. You know, they got it's the story and the provenance around the item that adds to its value, and that's what this is. There were 666 of them made. With the Wozniak signature on it and the story. I mean, that's what makes these valuable. It's not the unit itself.
See, but like I lose the value when you can, you know, walk around California and you can bump into Wozniak, shake his hand, say how you doing, and it just kind of like you can't run into Henry Ford anymore.
No.
But I mean, I don't know. Technology like that, I think, belongs in a museum, clearly.
And it may. I mean, there's the Boston Computer Museum, and there are museums. But the point, you know, it's like anything else. You buy a Van Gogh, but it's in a private owner's collection. It's not in a museum. You say, oh, that should be in the museum. It's a Van Gogh. It's priceless. But you know, people own them. You know, and pay a fortune for them. You know, but basically just a cabinet with some swirls of paint on it. But that's what. The fact is that it's rare. And there's a demand for it, and evidently for these Apple I computers, there is a demand for it. There is interest. It's part of our recent history, and people want to own that.
Yeah, I just had the thought. Do you know why the first Microsoft computers aren't getting the same fanfare?
Why?
Odds are they're probably still being used somewhere. Some business is still running some big old mainframe computer.
Maybe, could be. I can guarantee you nobody's running these those. I mean, there was a cassette interface which was on the
That wasn't a dig about how Microsoft works longer and better than Apple. It was a dig that companies don't like to tend to not like to upgrade their hardware very often. So
Addison says, you can meet Woz now. In 50 years, you're not going to be able to meet Woz, by the way. And it has a signature on the top of the computer, by the way.
Huh.
It says Woz, yeah, exactly. But again, there's
people like the weirdest things. I get it.
Not weirdest things. That's not true. I mean, the people collect things that have a value.
I had other adjectives. I chose the nicest, so.
Okay.
Let's not go there. All right, so we have time for a couple more stories. This one, Android climbs over the peak, nabs 84% of the share of the smartphone market.
Really?
84%.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
With as much advertising as Apple gets, you'd think, Apple is a huge contender. Not even close. Android wipes them out. So just when you think Android might have peaked in terms of market share, bam, it rises again. According to the latest data from Strategic Analytics, Android climbed to an 83.6% share of the global smartphone market in the third quarter of 2014, up from 81.4 during the same quarter a year ago. The continued rise leads one to wonder exactly what is the ceiling for Google's mobile OS. The Android market share gain came at the expense of every other mobile OS, and here's how it shook out. Now, here are the numbers. Again, Android sitting pretty at 83.6. iOS, the one that has advertisements everywhere, the one that everyone knows, iPhone, 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 sitting at 12.3%. 12.3.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't surprise you, Craig?
Yeah, I thought it would be higher.
I thought it would be higher too. So yeah, 12.3% down from 13.4% from a year ago. Microsoft, hey, they're trying. 3.3%. Go get them, Tiger. Down from 4.1. BlackBerry, they're still around. 0.7%, down from 1%. And others, 0.1%, down from 0.2%. So even the elusive others smartphone. Android leadership.
I have an others smartphone.
Yeah, I know. It's catchy. So, quote, Android's leadership of the global smartphone market looks unbeatable at the moment. Its low-cost services and user-friendly software remain attractive to hardware makers, operators, and consumers worldwide. However, challenges are emerging from Google. The Android platform is getting overcrowded with hundreds of hardware brands. Android smartphone prices are falling worldwide, and few Android devices vendors make profits. The recent launch of Apple's iPhone 6 and 6 Plus device might prevent Android from repeating a 2.2% year-on-year rise, though that remains to be seen. Either way, Android isn't in danger of losing its market share dominance in the near future. And I think it's worth mentioning that, yes, while Android has an 84% market share, that means that every version of Android is being lumped together. That does not include phones from different manufacturers. That does not include versions of different operating systems. That doesn't include anything like that. So even though Android has that big chunk of 84% of the market share, that is then split up into dozens upon dozens of hardware manufacturers, which is then split up even further by the numerous operating systems that are running on the umbrella of Android. So iOS, I think, even at 12%, that's a far cry from the 84%. I think 12% still beats out pretty much any, maybe a few like the Galaxy Note and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think the iOS is still the number one phone out there, like in terms of market share, because you have so much division in the Android marketplace that the iOS being the one stop, everyone has the same version of iOS, or
right.
They should if they update. Apple is iOS, whereas Android can be Samsung, can be Sony, can be whatever.
Whatever. Exactly.
Yeah. So even though iOS is sitting at 12% and Android at 84%, I think iPhones per capita are more popular than any other Android phone out there.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I'm sure there's a different way to reshuffle or look at those numbers too.
I think the only way to kind of look at this would be I think iOS has pretty much peaked. Like they could probably go up a percentage or two, but they are never going to reach the numbers that Android can, because Android, they let themselves, be adapted, changed, used, in different hardware. You can use any kind of hardware inside an Android phone. You can, anyone can make an Android phone. Just pay your royalties to Google, and you can do whatever you want to the operating system. You can use whatever hardware you want. You can manufacture whatever you want. And the iOS, they're not like that. They make iPhone, and they put the iOS on the iPhone. So, I mean, their market share isn't going to go up substantially because they don't let themselves be pieced out like Android does. So I think the iOS has kind of hit their top.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole Microsoft versus Apple thing. Microsoft owns 90% of the personal computer space, but when 30% of that is still Windows XP, 20% of that is Windows 7, and 50% of that is Windows 8.1. I mean, how dominant are they really?
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, Addison in the chat room says, one thing about Apple, they were pioneers of a great industry, succeeded with the world's best products, and continue that tradition today. And you can't say that about many of these other companies.
Apple, I think, made computers sexy. Before that, Bill Gates, he is a handsome gentleman, don't get me wrong, but he was the poster child for what a nerdy person looked like.
Yeah.
So and Apple came by. They were easy to use. They were simple. They were sleek looking. They actually they were actually influenced by design elements, and admittedly, Windows worked. Windows worked. It worked well, and that's why it took over corporations. But Apple, it's still doing stuff. So
yeah. No, I agree with you. Well. And of course you can attribute that to hiring people like Johnny Ives, who's one of the world-class designers to create these things.
I mean, you could talk up Apple, but you can't talk down Microsoft. They own the world. Like it's not even close. So yes, Apple could use some more appreciation, but you can't talk down Windows. Windows is huge.
Yeah, especially with Windows 10 coming around.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to as Mike Miller said, they're doing everything right this time. They really are, and especially if they wind up giving it away, or for very inexpensive, for a fraction of the cost, which they may have to do to compete with what Apple is doing. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, but it's going to be a while before we see that happen.
What, Windows 10?
Yeah, Windows 10. Yeah.
Spring 2015. Mark your calendar.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. What do you think it's going to sell for?
Windows 10?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this now. Well, since of course the vouchers for the upgrades and things like that, but operating-wise, I can't see it being worth more than $30. Like obviously it's worth more than $30, but I can't see them selling it for more than $30.
Just to Windows 8 owners, or to anybody?
To anyone. And if I remember correctly, with Windows 8, you could buy, like if you're coming from like XP, if you're coming from Vista, if you're coming to 7, you were given different price points, and I think even the highest one of those was like $50.
Yeah.
So inexpensive operating system is obviously the way to go. People don't want to pay money for an operating system. They want to pay money for apps and programs.
Well, that about wraps up the show, and on an interesting, thought-provoking little tidbit there. Now, tomorrow night, we're going to have an interesting company. We're going to have a company called Singular Sound. And they have a product called the Beat Buddy, which is very, very cool. It is a device for your guitar and it's a drum machine, but it has a screen on it, and it allows you to use it hands-free. You use it with your foot. It's just a really interesting product. We're going to have the company's designer and CEO and founder of the Beat Buddy coming on the show in the first hour. And then, of course, in hour 2, we'll have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Thank you so much for being with us here on our first show of November, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. Have a great evening. See you tomorrow night.
Seconds.
See you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and again, thanks to all of you for watching our after show video, live stream video, and Ben and I will see you tomorrow night. So have a good evening and good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.